It's no secret that Charlie loves Jethro Tull. Episode 4 of Ticket Stubs and Bootlegs. This is from a Jethro Tull concert in 1989, and it was at the Spectrum, and it was for the Rock Island tour, and it was such a cool stage set that I've told the story a dozen times, if not 24 times, to different people. I love it. If you like this little series that I'm doing with Ticket Stubs and Bootlegs, please subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or follow me on Facebook. Please, it would help me immensely. Bootleg, Ticket. Now, this is from November 2nd, 1989. It also happened to be Dave Pegg's birthday. Now, Peggy's birthday just happened to coincide that night, but I was a fan of Pegg's because of his ties to Fairport. He was in Tull from 1979, 1980, thereabouts, till about 1995 or so. And he was a great addition to the band. As far as his bass playing, he's just superb. And he was also a good vocalist, a good backing vocalist for Ian Anderson. In fact, I think probably one of the better ones, except for possibly John Glasscock from the 70s. I think Peg was a strong second voice that Tull always needed. And still does, quite frankly. I'm a fan, but I still think a second voice is necessary. Anyhow, the stage set for Rock Island was a steamship. The stage was set up as if you were on a boat, and there's a lot of the theme. It's thematically based around being an island, being in the water, it's water themed. There's a song on the CD or album called The Whalers' Dues about the horrors of whaling and the destructive nature of what whaling was. During the concert, and I'll never forget it, and it's a it was a great vision to have thought of this, I thought. They're in the middle of playing a song. It was probably The Whalers' Dues, and they're in the middle of probably a solo. It's hard to remember back in the day. I haven't listened in advance. I'll have to listen after I record this. Middle of a performance, and all of a sudden, the music slows down and stops. At that point, all the band members put down their instruments and from somewhere on stage grab a shovel, and they walk over to a pile of coal that was hidden on stage. They go over to the boiler and open the door of the boiler of the boat, which is the stage set, and they start shoveling coal into the furnace to fire the boiler. And after a few shovels full from each of them, all of a sudden the music comes back up again. They put their shovels down and continue playing. That was one of the best little skits I've ever seen Tull do. They're always known, or they were always known, for their stage presence and their antics on stage, and I think that was one of the better ones throughout their whole history. And that was 1989, a latter-day Tull concert. And I just thought it was genius. It was hilarious, but it made sense. Their stage was set up like a ship. The boiler had gone cold and they had to fire it up again. And so none of their instruments would work until they fired it up. Great stuff. Peg's birthday. In the middle of the show, Ian Anderson wants to spotlight Dave Pegg because he announces to the audience in the Spectrum, which was, I don't know, 17,000, 20,000 people. I forget how big the Spectrum was for concerts, but it was something like that. So he's announcing through his microphone, so it's going through the whole place. It's Dave Pegg's birthday. Dave Pegg was 42. Sorry, Dave, or Peggy. Sorry that I'm giving away your age, really, by not giving it away. But on November 2nd, 1989, Dave Pegg turned 42. Ian Anderson was trying to get the spotlight operator to shine the spot on Pegg, who was playing bass to Anderson's right. Whoever was working the spot either wasn't paying attention, thought he was kidding, whatever. The spotlight did not move from Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson pointing at the bass player, and he even says, I'm pointing at the bass player. That means I want you to point at him too. Wakey, wakey, spotlight operator. No, they're totally gone. That's basically what he said. So 2 things from that concert that really stand out. I loved the theme of the show for Rock Island, the Rock Island tour, set up as the steamship and having the coal-fired boiler on stage with them. And I love Ian Anderson trying to point out to everybody, it's Dave Pegg's birthday, spotlight, and no spotlight for Peggy. He didn't get recognized at all, but basically it was announced that it was his birthday. A fun show. And an early show for me, for Tull. I had seen them a couple times before, but in 1989 rather, I'd only seen them a few times. I've seen them way more than that by now. But this concert at the Spectrum, Philadelphia Spectrum, probably the worst place in the city to see a concert. It was not set up for acoustics. You had to have a real genius behind the sound there to make a concert like a rock concert like that sound really good inside the Spectrum, where sound just bounced off of everything. If you've ever been there and you're local to me, you know the old Spectrum, exposed girders and beams and flat surfaces everywhere, not conducive to concerts. That's why the Flyers played there and the Sixers played there. It wasn't necessarily a concert venue, although it was set up as a concert theater for shows all the time. I saw many concerts there, and after every concert I would swear, never again. I'm never going back to the Spectrum, because I would invariably be disappointed in the sound. As it happens, the Tull concert sounded really good. Then a couple years later, I went to see ZZ Top there, and it was just horrible. But the Tull concert sounded good. It still sounds good on my bootleg. And I just like relaying the story of the stage set of the Rock Island tour from Jethro Tull. Like I said, it was 1989, November 2nd, and a lot of fun. I went with my friend Bob Albright, who I haven't seen in like 30 years, and a couple of his friends. And they're to me, they're lost to time. If they're still out there, hey, Bob, I still think about you every now and then. Anyhow, thanks for listening. If you like hearing about the ticket stub collection or the bootleg collection, please subscribe, tune back in. I make these things occasionally, and I just have fun reminiscing. Drop a comment, and we'll take it from there. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.